Are you able to listen me? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
continue. We will start the classification of modern Indian languages on page number 10, table 1.2. Before it, I told how much the religious composition is important, and religious composition depending on the different aspect of human life, and it is depending the political situation of the country and the cultural equity, the cultural composition of society, according to which we can divide and classify the different religions populations in our country. The distribution of population is uneven. So many states of India, so many districts of India, we can find a more populated districts and states, majority of population either Hindu and other particular minority persons. So region to region, district to district, we will find a different concentration of population belonging to the particular religion. But we will start on this page classification of modern Indian languages. I told there were four families in the existence of language in our country India in the beginning. So first family, you can see the column number first, that is ostrich, it means Nisad. If we talk about the proportion of population belonging to the Nisad family, that is 1.38. Okay. Second family, Dravidian. It means South Indian family. Proportion of population, that is 20%. Right. Number third family belonging to Sino-Tibetan, that comprising the proportion of population hardly 0.85%. It means a very little proportion of population of this family, that is the Sino-Tibetan family. Number fourth, very important, most populous family. So nowadays we can see in our country, we can observe the most of the population belonging this family, that is Indo-European Aryan family. 73% population, it means largest score, largest population of this family. Also, we are the people belonging to this family, European Aryan. According to which, wherever they are living, we can see next column, sub-family after classification of these main family. So sub-family, that is Austo Nisad, and there is no classification of Dravidian family. But Tibetan family is also classified into two parts, Tibeto Myanmari and Siamese Chinese. Next one, Indo-European, there is no classification, a single existence of this family, Indo-Aryan. Also these days it is known Indo-Aryan. आज भी इसको इंडो-आर्यन कहा जाता है. हम लोग भी इंडो-आर्यन के वंशज कहे जाएंगे. ओके. Thereafter नेक्स्ट थर्ड कॉलम, ब्रांच एंड ग्रुप. इसकी कौन कौन सी ब्रांचेज हो गई हैं टाइम टू टाइम ओवर द ईयर्स, समय बीतता चला गया. बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट इज द फोर्थ कॉलम, स्पीच एरिया. वॉट एवर द लैंग्वेजेस आर स्पोकन इन विच स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया अकॉर्डिंग टू द फैमिली बिलोंगिंग. किस फैमिली से कौन सी स्टेट्स में उनकी लैंग्वेज है, कौन सी स्टेट्स में उनका आइन हैबिटेंट्स है, रेजिडेंस है. सो जस्ट वी कैन मैच द ostrich or the Nisad family belonging to the Meghalaya state, Nicobar Island, West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Assam, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and outside India also they are found. Okay. Next, Dravidian family belonging to the South Indian states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Maharashtra, and some of the part of North Dravidian, that is Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, and Madhya Pradesh. Right. There is no family member of this Dravidian family in our state Uttar Pradesh and other North Indian states like Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, and Jammu Kashmir. Right. Number four, that is most populous in Indo-European, that belonging to the states outside of India, Jammu and Kashmir, पंजाब, हिमाचल प्रदेश, उत्तर प्रदेश, राजस्थान, हरियाणा, मध्य प्रदेश, उड़ीसा, वेस्ट बंगाल, असम, गुजरात, महाराष्ट्र एंड गोवा. You know, these are the region of India most population belonging to the Indo-European families. So it is very clear, and the existence of population in our country, there were only 4 families. जब एग्जिस्टेंस हुआ था ह्यूमन का हमारे हिंदुस्तान, तो यहाँ पर 4 families हुआ करती थी that comes from different regions of the world. Okay. Next, move further. The special decision of religious communities in the country, appendix 5th. It means when you visit in the last of this book, appendix are given, and so many data are given from different aspect of human life, like literacy, population, percentage of population, growth rate, and different other data. So that is the appendix. It shows that there are certain states and districts having large numerical strength of one religion. If you observe in our India, so many states, so many districts are there. You will observe only a single population belonging to single community or single religion. We will find in the majority of population belonging to a single majority of religion, right? Like Hindu. So while the same may be very negligibly represented in other states, if we observe other states of India in the same way, we will find the negligence of the majority of population what I observed in other states. तो जिसकी हमने मेजोरिटी पाई है हमारे इंडिया में कुछ ऐसे स्टेट्स मिलेंगे majority of population like Hindu, we will find most of the population belonging to the minority group or the minority of religion like Muslim, Jain, Baudd, right? So Hindus are distributed as a major group in many states, ranging from 70.90% and above, except the district of states along Indo-Bangladesh border, Jammu Kashmir. Very important. That is the population of Hindu in our country. That is 70.90%. But it is except the concentration of population on the border areas like Indo Pak border and Indo Bangla border along with Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the 3 regions. We will find a least population from the majority of populated region, that is Hindu, and other minority groups we will find more populated like minority group Muslim. तो इंडो पाक रीजन में जाएंगे आपको मुस्लिम ज्यादा मिलेंगे, इंडो बांग्लादेश में जाएंगे मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी ज्यादा मिलेगी, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर विजिट करेंगे तो मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी ज्यादा मिलेगी. So except these 3 regions, we will find most of the districts, most of the states of India, the concentration of population is found belonging to the Hindu community or the Hindu religion. This is the distribution in our Indian states. Okay, move further. You can observe the table. 1.3 Religious communities of India. You know, the religious communities of India. How many communities are there in our country belonging to particular religion, and what is the proportion of population of that community? कौन से रिलीजन हमारे देश में है, उनकी पॉपुलेशन कितनी है और उनका परसेंटेज शेयर क्या है? सो फर्स्ट मोस्ट पॉपुलस रिलीजन इन अवर कंट्री दैट इज हिंदू, बिलोंगिंग टू द शेयर ऑफ पॉपुलेशन 79.8%. okay, 79.8% population of Hindu. Muslim 14.2. It is according to the census 2011. The data is given according to the census of 2011. Okay, and next that is Christian. ये नंबर 3rd रैंक पे आता है. 2.3% share of population belonging to Christian, and number 4th 1.7%, Buddhist 0.7%, Jains 0.4%, other religions and persons ORP 0.7, religions not stated जिनका कोई रिलीजन नहीं होता है जिन्होंने अपने आप को स्पेसिफाई नहीं किया होता है कि हमारा कोई रिलीजन है, 0.2 population share of that community. It means we observe that first Hindu, second that is Muslim, third that is Christian, and fourth Sikh, fifth Buddhist and Jain. Okay, move further. Muslim, the largest religious minority. If we talk about the minority of population, so large religious population of minority, that is Hindu in our country, concentration of the population in Jammu and Kashmir, certain districts of West Bengal, Kerala, and many districts of Uttar Pradesh in the around the Delhi and the Lakshadweep. So this is the concentration of population of Muslims in our country. So once again, I want to repeat: Jammu and Kashmir, district of West Bengal, Kerala states, many district of Uttar Pradesh, and around the Delhi NCR region, Lakshadweep. So they are majority in Kashmir Valley and Lakshadweep. If we talk about the minority group, that is Muslim community, also they are having a majority of population in Lakshadweep Union Territories and Jammu and Kashmir UT Union Territories. Okay. Next page. Religion and landscape. What is the belonging of religion of community of particular religion to a particular landscape area of the landmark? Whatever the monuments are made by the particular community people. You know, temple, mosque, gurdwara, cathedral, church, monasteries. These are the different landscapes of the different community belonging to a particular religion. So formal expression of religions. One landscape is manifested through sacred structure. Any kind of religion, either the minority or the majority of population, each and every majority of and minority of population belonging to particular religion are having a particular sacred structure. Particular sacred structure, that is known temple, mosque, gurdwara. These are the structure belonging to sacred landscape. And scared structures are widely distributed throughout the country. These may range from inconspicuous village shrine to a large Hindu temple, monumental masjid, or other ornately designed cathedral in large metropolitan cities. If we talk about the cathedral, and the most developed countries and other countries or the Western countries, you will find different kinds of large monasteries and cathedral. That means एक बहुत बड़ा जो गिरजाघर होता है, that is known a large cathedral. So these are the structural, sacred structural pattern of each religion. हर एक धर्म का अपना कहीं न कहीं sacred place होता है. So these temple, masjid, gurdwara, monasteries, church differ in size, form, space, use the density, while attributing a spatial dimensions to the total landscape of the area. It means each sacred place, either the monasteries, cathedral, mosque, temples, having a differentiation in size, shape, form, and other aspect of sacred places. Okay. We will move further. The Christian, next religion की बात करते हैं. The Christian population of the Christian religion distributed mostly in the rural areas of the country. अगर हम क्रिश्चियन की बात करते हैं, most of the persons are found in the rural areas of the country. The main concentration is observed along the western coast around Goa, Kerala, also in hills state of Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Chota Nagpur area, and hills of Manipur. It means northeastern states of India, Kerala and Goa, the western coast of the conquered coast of western India, southwestern India. Most of the Christians are found. The concentration of Christian population in the Goa state of India and Kerala state of India and some of the hilly regions of India. Okay. Next religion, that is Sikhs. So Sikhs are mostly concentrated in the relatively small area of the country. If we observe that in our country, the concentration population of Sikhs they are resided, they are inhabited in our country, they covered a very small area, बहुत कम एरिया में बसे हुए हैं सिख, सो पर्टिकुलरली इन द स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब, हरियाणा एंड दिल्ली। आपको सिख लोगों का जो कंसंट्रेशन है, यू विल फाइंड ओनली द पंजाब स्टेट्स एंड देयर आफ्टर हरियाणा एंड एनसीआर रीजन, दिल्ली। ओके, next we will talk about next religion, that is Jainism and Buddhist. Jains and Buddhist, smallest religious groups in India, have their concentration only in the selected area of the country. You know, according to the proportion of share, hardly 0.7% and 0.4%, a little proportion of population in our country. Jains have major concentration in the urban areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra. Most of the Jainis, they are living in our country, urban areas. They are not living in the rural areas. ये लोग शहरों में रहते हैं, having a little proportion of population, and just they are living the state of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, while the Buddhists are concentrated mostly in Maharashtra and other majority of Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Tripura and Lahul and Spiti in Himachal Pradesh. These are the concentration of population of Jainism. Okay. Next, the other religions of India include Zoroastrian. Zoroastrians travels and other indigenous faiths and beliefs. You know, according to their belief, other proportion of population that is known Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism that is known Parsi. आपने एक वर्ड सुना होगा, हमारे देश में पारसी धर्म के लोग भी रहते हैं। Those are known Zoroastrians. Tribal also belonging to this Parsi religion. Okay, so these groups are concentrated in small pockets scattered throughout the country. A little population, a very little population are found belonging to this community, that is Parsi, and scattered here and there in our country, a very sparse population. Okay. Next we will study composition of working population. That is very important because of we should know about the working population. How many workers, how many people they are belonging to workforce. Whatever they are working, whatever they are doing, producing the product, and thereafter we can sell in the market. Thereafter you will be able to get GDP. So the contribution of working population is very crucial to any economy of the world. दुनिया की किसी भी इकोनॉमी की बात करें, certainly the workforce of the work population, it means human resource, is very important to contribute to increase economy of the nation. किसी भी देश की इकोनॉमी को बढ़ाने के लिए सबसे बड़ा जो कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है, it goes to the working population according to age structures. Okay, so let's see first how many participants. Aditi, Aksha Zakir, Divyanshi Dwivedi, Manvi, Muskan Singh, Swayam Shukla, and some of the students they left. Okay. Composition of working population. You know what is the composition of working population? How many people they are working in the primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector? According to which we can measure the economic development of the nation. देश कितना विकास कर रहा है ये डिपेंड करता है how many proportion of population is working in which economic sector. Okay, the population of India according to their economic status is divided into three groups, namely main workers, marginal workers, and non-workers. So you know main workers. First is the main workers. Second, marginal workers, and third is non-workers. Non-workers refers who are not working, जो काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, it means non-workers. So the population structure regarding the working force of the work population First category is main workforce, main workers. Second, marginal workers, and third, non-workers. We will analyze these three components of the composition of working population further. It is observed that in India the proportion of workers both main and marginal. If we include and merge both first main workers and marginal workers, it contains the proportion of population in our country, that is 39.8%. 39.8% according to population, according to census 2011. It means according to 2011 census, the working population including the main workers and marginal workers were there 39.8%. It means less than 50% are working either in the secondary activities or tertiary activities, leaving a vast majority about 60% of Indian workers. Very interesting fact, you should know about it. Rest of almost 60% population are non-worker in our country. It means 60% people they are not working. If they are not working, definitely we can say they are dependent to other. Definitely, who are not working, who are not earning money, certainly they would be called dependent people. वो दूसरे पर depend होते हैं. It means how much they are the burden over the nation, how much they are burdened to the national economy. Also, they are increasing overburden on the family members who is earning money. परिवार में जो कोई एक व्यक्ति अर्निंग करता है and some of the family member who are not working, जो वर्क नहीं करते हैं, they are the burden over a single earned family member. तो ये बर्डन बन के रह जाते हैं, डिपेंडेंट हो जाते हैं. दैट इज अनफॉर्चुनेट इन अवर कंट्री. So we have to increase the proportion of population in working population, main workers or the marginal workers. Okay, and if we classify the different regions in our country and different states, so the proportion of working population of the states and union territories show a moderate variation from about 39.6% in Goa to about 49.9% in Daman and Diu. It means some of the states of India like Goa just comprise the proportion of population as the main workers of the working population 39.6%. It means a little or a small area of Goa, but the proportion of working population is 39.6. And Daman and Diu, you know, Iceland Union Territory, Daman and Diu, the proportion of working population 49.5, 49.9, sorry, 49.9, we can say almost 50%. They are main workers, they are working population. It is very good indicator to increase economy. So the states with the largest percentage of workers are Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Meghalaya. Among the union territories, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu are heavier proportion rate of working population. Very good. You can observe it in our country, India's states, north and northwestern states having a large proportion of population. Those are the working population and workforce. हिमाचल प्रदेश की बात हुई है, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर की बात हुई है, कर्नाटका, आंध्र प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, सिक्किम, हिमाचल प्रदेश, मेघालय and Union territories, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu. Higher proportion of population, those are working in secondary activities or tertiary activities. Certainly, it is the good indicator of these states. But rest of the states in northeast India and east India and some of the states on the coastal region of east, they are not having a large proportion of population belonging to workforce or working population, right? So it is understood that in the context of country like India, अगर हम अपने देश के रेफरेंस में बात करते हैं, the work participation rate trend to be higher in the area of lower level of economic development, since number of manual workers are needed to perform the subsistence or near subsistence economic activities. It means the states of India, those are weaker states, certainly they increase the proportion of working population in these states. It is the last observation in our country. Move further, the occupational composition. Because of just it is close related, the workforce or working population, it means occupational structure of state in our country. हमारे देश में स्टेट टू स्टेट ऑक्यूपेशनल स्ट्रक्चर क्या है? इट मीन्स इंडिया पॉपुलेशन विच एक्चुअली मीन्स एंगेजमेंट ऑफ इंडिविजुअल इन फार्मिंग। इंडिया इज नोन द कंट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर। भारत कृषि प्रधान देश कहा जाता है। ऑलमोस्ट 65 to 68% people they are working in primary activities either indirectly or directly. It is the indicator the status of economy of the nation, according to which the manufacturing, trade, service or any kind of professional activities to a large proportion of primary sector. Either they are working in any sector or any activity, but directly or indirectly, the primary activities or the farming, the population proportion is much higher, and rest of the economic sector like secondary sector and tertiary, a small proportion of population we can observe in our country. So primary sectors workers compared to the secondary and tertiary sector is much higher proportion. If we compare to the secondary sector and tertiary, that is the service sector, we will find a small proportion of a large proportion of population. तो सबसे ज्यादा लोग हमारे यहाँ पर काम करते हैं प्राइमरी सेक्टर में। किसमें? प्राइमरी सेक्टर में। ओके, about 54.6% of total working population are cultivators. Okay, class is over.